evening, folks, and welcome to Garbage Theater. Tonight's installment, Shadow Man. I'm your host, Chase, my co-host, Blake and John.
Yellow.
Hey.
So, back to normal.
Yeah, you could say that.
Feels like it's been a long time for some reason.
Yeah.
You guys feel this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, it was a doozy. But before we get to all of that, let's just go down our agenda. If you haven't noticed, our last we have a little bonus episode that we put up last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. Our host John got to sit down with the director of the Velocipaster for a little interview, Brendan Steer.
Yeah, shit was crazy.
And he did a good job.
Yeah.
Good job, John.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, guys.
You made us look good.
My first ever interview.
First ever. We've been tweeted by a director before, but we've been yelled at by a director before. But never got to sit down and have a chat. So
yeah, never a nice convo.
Yeah, so
make better movies, assholes, and maybe we can have a nice conversation.
Exactly. So
I mean, I'd talk to any of them that have a good sense of humor about stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it's got a good attitude generally.
I think we should make it a normal thing where we force John to reach out to every director. And regardless of how they feel, he's going to conduct an interview with.
I just kind of
figured
figured
on here and berate John.
Like I figured, and I was dead wrong, obviously. I figured people who made movies like this had thicker skin. Like, you're poking fun at things, so surely you should be able to be made fun of too. But it doesn't translate that way, I guess.
And that's what I've always said. If you're going to put yourself out there, I mean, we put ourselves out there. I'm sure. I mean, I know there's people that don't like us. So.
Oh, for
and
sure.
Boy, I'd love to hear from them.
So, yeah, I know it's not one of our typical episodes, but if you haven't listened to it, go check it out because it's a fun listen.
Yeah, it's
a lot
cool.
of insight.
Yeah.
Brendan's a real nice guy.
Yeah. And not just because he likes Street Fighter.
True.
I was like, I couldn't believe it.
In other news, I read a little article having to do with our roasting of Rise of Skywalker. That apparently the actor Ian McDiarmid, who plays Palpatine, recently this past week revealed that Palpatine was indeed a clone. And that got cut
also
from the movie.
the novelization, I guess.
Yeah, he said in the original script that he was given, it was in there. There was an exchange between him and Kylo. Kylo tells him, "You're a clone," and the Emperor says, "More than a clone, less than a man," and that got cut.
Okay,
it still would,
and it was replaced by nothing.
It's honestly, it doesn't make anything any better. There's still a million questions.
Yeah.
I wish I had the tweet in front of me, but Elijah Wood tweeted like a reply to somebody and it was perfect. Not only because he's Frodo, but somebody was talking about how like people were complaining about where did all these people come from to man all these destroyers, which we talked about that too.
Yeah,
and it was saying that basically they brainwashed everybody that was already on that planet, and they became Sith supporters through brainwashing and all this stuff. And his only response was, "How could we know this?" And he's absolutely right.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, as far as I'm concerned, all of these, like, post hoc justifications and explanations don't mean shit. Like, if it's not in the movie, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, how are you supposed to know?
How are you supposed to know this? And it's not my job to sit around for hours like, trying to trying to make your movie work in my brain.
Well,
yeah, I don't need to log into Fortnite to figure out your goddamn movie.
Exactly. Once you send in 11 proofs of purchase of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, you can find out where all those Sith worshippers came from.
Remember when they used to have the little lightsaber spoons that came in cereal?
Yes, I do.
Those are awesome.
Also in the news, the man of the hour himself, Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Being
The
fined,
absolute boy.
being fined by the SEC for over $300,000 because he didn't disclose a $1 million payout for promoting Bitcoin to Jen.
He doesn't have $300,000. He's gonna have to sell that painting.
Well,
I forgot about the painting.
Now it's Blake's time to pick that painting up cheap.
Oh yeah.
one thing I didn't know of his many ventures is he apparently had an energy drink at one point.
That seems like an oxymoron.
It has a commercial and everything, and it's as bad as you think it is.
Is he in it?
Oh yeah, he's in it.
Oh,
He's
man.
in it, and 2 of his bikini-clad sex slaves are in it too.
If you want to move like me, drink my energy drink that's laced with tryptophan.
It's called Lightning Bolt, and it's made with Himalayan goji berries and Asian cordyceps.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It comes,
That sucks out there
of course it
collecting
is.
goji berries.
wait. It comes in 2 wonderful flavors: Cherry Charge and Asian Experience.
Isn't that the name of one of his movies?
Both of those are names of his movies.
So I encourage
Asian
everyone
experience.
to
How
go
much
to
deer
YouTube.
testicle do these contain?
Enough. So yeah, I encourage everyone to go to YouTube and look up Steven Seagal Lightning Bolt energy drink and watch the commercial because it is a train wreck.
Well, no surprise here.
He speaks Russian in it.
Oh, really?
Because why wouldn't he? Oh yeah.
Oh, Seagal.
But anyway, let's get to the main course of Seagal.
Oh, you mean you don't have any sports updates for us,
No, I
Chase?
don't.
Jesus.
The Shadow Man. Let's get this shit show on the road.
Oh,
indeed.
Here's my question. Seagal's character. What was he?
What is he? Yes, that's written real big on top of my notes. Who is this man?
He's everything. He's all of it.
He's a CEO. He's the sensei of a dojo. He's an CIA operative.
He's the perfect. This is the worst instance of perfect great man Seagal, that I've seen so far. Yeah, he's got it all. Former CIA, expert marksman, executive of Fortune 500 company, and master of touch of death martial
looking
arts.
for an everyman.
God damn it.
Motherfucker's heir to Hokuto Shinken. He's the Fist of the North Star over here.
It felt like a Godfrey Ho movie.
It kind of did.
It's everywhere. It's disjointed. No 2 groups of people seem like it should be in the same storyline.
This movie's one saving grace had nothing to do with itself for me, but I was in a hurry to finish this, so I watched it at 1.5 speed, and it made this movie awesome because anytime he spoke, it made him sound nervous. So, because he does a lot of and when you have that coupled with the jittery speech, it always sounds like he's nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one time where he actually runs. It's actually him running and not the stunt double.
Yeah.
And everybody knows he's got a problem with running anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But when that's at fucking Benny Hill speed,
Yeah, I honestly like can't. I have no idea what happened in this thing. Like, I don't know how anybody was related to anybody else. I don't know what anybody was trying to do. Except for Seagal. I kind of know what he was trying to do.
The plot escapes me other than his daughter was kidnapped and he wants to get her back.
Yeah, who really knows what happened here?
Everything happening around that, it's just a blur in my periphery.
Yeah.
So, with that ringing endorsement, let's dive into the Shadow Man. We open to some sort of lab where some rats are being put through the MK Ultra program, apparently.
Which is,
I didn't get this at all.
It's over. Didn't it? Right? Like, it ended in the 70s.
Apparently not. They got some rats going. So they're giving these rats these drops of this serum that turns them into hamsters, and then they die. There's some intercut scenes of this panicked man rushing through a crowd, and sweet Christ, it's like it's Derailed 2.
Oh my god! Yes. I was going to bring up Derailed.
There's a billion cuts and camera movements and snap zooms and pans and exponential zooms. Do it all.
And these like really annoying like lens flare transitions. I don't know. So like disorienting.
The screen just rapid fires like flashes of yellow when it transitions scenes. Just
also,
to do it.
You know, when a camera pans, it doesn't need to make a whooshing sound either.
So the man pulls some device out of his cell phone and he slips into his sock and he calmly walks away. And here we go. We cut to a dojo with the man himself schooling a bunch of Asian guys on stuff that I'm sure they know more than he does. And I know that's a stereotype, but I'm willing to say any Asian person on the planet knows more about Asian stuff than Steven Seagal. They could be a 10th generation Asian American eating cheeseburgers their whole life. They know more about Asian culture than Seagal.
Well, I immediately didn't like any of this.
Well, hang on. Do we want to hear his little speech?
Yes, please.
Yeah, here we go.
It'll help.
Here's what he lays out to these guys.
So the idea of dimmak, or any kind of internal technique, is not to hurt others, but to help others. Dimmak can be used to heal people. It can be used to kill people. This is the nature of chi. Chi can be used in striking for just external or internal. If you go to the internal organs, you'll do great damage. External, you can just move them a little bit.
So he opens with saying that this dimmak technique is used to help people, and then immediately pivots that it can be used to kill as well.
All right, the dimmak.
Yeah.
So that was created by the guy who's behind the whole men who stare at goats thing.
Okay.
It's like that bullshit artist.
Was it the Count Dante, or is he just a proponent?
I forget his real name. What's his real name? God damn it. Anyway, world-renowned bullshit artist with the dimmak.
Yeah, it's totally fake.
Yes. I mean, she is fake. And this was made in 2006, right?
Yes.
Anybody speaking about Chi after UFC 1, you're an idiot. Because that disproved all of it. Right then and there was no magical karate master that could take you out without touching you. It was over. But here we are in 2006 talking about the dimmak, which also, like MK Ultra, people forgot about since the 1970s.
Yeah, I recently fell down a rabbit hole of like watching videos on, fake and ineffective martial arts, and it's been very enlightening. But yeah, dimmak, just a bunch of fake bullshit.
Yeah, the greater part of my evenings is usually looking at bullshit martial arts videos. And my favorites are like the ones that are even like. Of course, I like seeing whenever like a chi master actually tries to take on like a mixed martial artist and just gets pounded. Like, I love seeing that. But what intrigues me more is when you see a video that's obviously from like a year ago, and there's people believing this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Who are these idiots? How do they get driver's licenses?
Yeah.
Like, you're just playing along. Like, you know, like, you're part of the play. You're part of the dance. I don't know.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's cult-like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime you see, a bald man with the big hammer pants on under his karate gi, you know you're in for some shit. Fucking shit.
So he lays out this lesson, and he shows that he strikes one of the guys and he goes flying 10 feet back, and then he punches a watermelon, and I guess he liquefies the inside of the watermelon without breaking the rind.
They never really showed what happened to the watermelon.
No, he just punches a watermelon to no effect.
So 2 things wrong with this. Obviously, these are new students. You're going to lose students if you're punching them through a goddamn wall. And secondly, you hit this watermelon and there's like, the guy turns it and there's like a hole in the back. Why didn't one of those students be like, I think you set up that watermelon?
Well, one of the students gets a little mouthy and he steps out of line and goes, "I'm very impressed with how you punched that watermelon."
Yeah.
So he asks for a lesson in watermelon punching, to which Seagal blasts him through the wall.
Yeah. Well, there goes his membership fee.
He then commands the entire class to attack him, and he starts pushing and shoving them all around, all while his head is obscured by this cloud of blackness that hangs just at head height conveniently.
So strange.
So I don't know. This whole thing, the whole martial arts thing, bothered me more than usual, just because. Like, I can deal with him being Aikido master because at least that's grounded somewhere in reality, somewhat. But when you start talking about the dim mak and you liquefying watermelons and shit.
Yeah, and I really don't have any idea what this has to do with anything else in the movie.
No,
it was just like, if you didn't see this coming, that he was going to do that to somebody's head. Yeah. Like, that's all it was for. That he's going to punch somebody in the head and liquefy them.
Yeah. It's just setting up that he can do this. He could do a fucking Kamehameha.
Ugh.
I mean, honestly, just find another way to kill a guy. Like, I don't need an entire scene of this.
I want to do something completely different than any other film I've ever done.
Oh, God.
So
and, if I was an actor... Okay, no, not if I was an actor. If I was Steven Seagal, where in these shitty movies, obviously he has some sort of pull for some reason because he isn't in most of the goddamn movie, but he still got paid. Right. Like, if I was him, and if it was in the script to do the dim mak and all that, I'd be like, I'm not doing that shit. That's bullshit.
Right. If you're a legitimate martial artist.
Yeah.
Listen to what you're saying. This man is steeped in bullshit. He lives and breathes it.
Yeah, but
That's
I
true.
want to give him some credit, though. Like, he was, like, the first white man to go to Japan and, like, actually teach Aikido at, like, their best schools. So you gotta have a little something there. Now, what happened after that? Oh, I don't know. But as far as martial arts, you give him a little bit, but then he does something like this. Or he does something like his career, I should say.
He starts claiming to be a llama, and you have to trick him into acting.
Jesus Christ!
I'm very curious as to what happened to him. Like, how did he get this way? Was he always an egomaniac, or did like fame get to him, or like what happened?
I think fame got to him.
Because he completely believes his own bullshit.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I think when he first got famous, so many people were just like yes men to him that he started believing his own bullshit. And I know I've mentioned this before, and boy, I wish I had the ability to do it now. I know people who play cards with this man when he's in town.
Yeah. Let's not forget that he's in Louisiana often.
Yeah. God damn if I could have a conversation with him.
That's like the crown jewel of what we aspire to here at Garbage Theater is to actually interview one of our patron saints.
I guarantee you within 2 minutes he'd be trying to dim mock my melon.
Hey Blake, you ever hear this dim mock?
No, because honestly, I think I'd be so infuriated when I saw him. Like, you're not a fucking llama. And it'd all be downhill from there. But you know what? He's coming up on rough times. Maybe I can say, hey, I'll give you a crisp $20 bill if you do this interview. What would happen if we got an interview with Steven Seagal? Jesus Christ.
I'll give you a crisp Bitcoin 2 gen.
Yeah.
For this interview.
I don't know how it works. There's something about a block of cheese chain that I don't understand.
Oh my God. Okay, back to this. We then cut from the dojo. We're not even through like the first 30 seconds of the movie.
Well, that's when it kind of hits you that you into some bullshit in 30 seconds.
Cut to his office where he's the CEO of this major corporation, and his daughter rushes in, and Amanda, and she asks him, why haven't you packed yet? And he tells her that, I'm going to send you ahead with Grandpa George, and I'll just be one day behind you. And she asks him if we'll see horses while we're there, and she says, oh yeah, we may even see your mama's horse.
Which I thought was some kind of weird sexual innuendo, but it wasn't.
So he then proceeds from his dojo to his CEO's office to a restaurant, obviously, where he meets with the man from the opening scene, and this is Grandpa George. And he recaps all the info we just friggin' got from the last scene. Also, was the cameraman across the street while filming this? Because it's shaking around like it's zoomed in 400 times.
Well, this is something that I noticed throughout the movie. I'm positive they didn't have permits to film anything. They're just trying to get this. They're trying to get all their footage completely surreptitiously.
I thought the same thing. And let me tell you, if you think it's bad on 1.5 speed, you're about to have an epileptic fit. But at the end of the credits, it says it was all filmed on location at some studio in Romania.
A studio?
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
All of Romania is a studio. So, George asks Seagal if he knows where they'll be staying, and he takes Seagal's phone because he's going to program the address into it himself, and he fakes dropping the stylus and swaps it out for the one that he tucked in his sock earlier. Is this even a phone that needs a stylus?
Yes.
Okay. 2006, it's a flip phone. I didn't know if there were any flip phones that had styluses back then.
Yeah, it had it.
Okay. Well, Grandpa Joe switches out the stylus for the one he had in his sock. Cut to an office where some guy hacks into the IRS. And we know this because on his computer screen, it says only in huge block letters, IRS.com access granted. Sweet Christ.
Access granted.
And at first I thought that it was cheesy just because it said IRS.com, but then it infuriated me because it would have been IRS.gov. So he wasn't even hacking the right website.
No.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that.
The man on the phone with Seagal he's on the phone with Seagal, and he tells him that he can wipe out any taxes owed. And Seagal responds with a muffled blather about, "Nah, I'm embarrassed for you. You need to get yourself a life."
Ain't he doing him a favor?
I don't think so. I think we're just setting up that Seagal has a hacker friend that can get into the IRS. He's so good.
I thought he was getting rid of his tax problems.
No,
he was offering to.
He was offering to. He was just showing off to Seagal that he could do this. Literally just setting up that he knows a hacker for the very last scene of the movie.
Obviously, it was Seagal, too sophisticated for me.
Seagal does not care.
No.
At all.
I haven't paid taxes in 30 years. I'm not about to start now.
So
I guess in the past couple of scenes, we established that Seagal's wife in this movie is his favorite status. Dead. So I realized that I think at least 3 of the movies we've watched of his that he has a dead wife.
Yeah.
So I wasted probably a half an hour looking into how many movies Seagal has made where his wife is dead or dies in the movie. No, the list is not exhaustive because I'd probably have to watch them all to be sure. And I think the number is probably higher. But this list is only the ones that mention his wife's death in the plot summary.
Okay.
So it's Half Past Dead, Hard to Kill, Glimmer Man, Shadow Man, The Patriot, Belly of the Beast, Into the Sun, and Absolution. It's like 8 movies.
That's enough.
8 movies, all done last year.
Right now, Batsuck and the Falcon just looked at each other like, what?
And it's clear this is another one of those movies where they just gave him like the gist of the scene and he ad-libbed all the dialogue.
Yeah.
Because it's just rambling.
Yeah, I'm sure it was you and your wife are divorced and you're taking all right, I got it from here. Your mom's dead.
Steven, we've already cast a fairly, notable actress to play the... No, she's dead.
I said she's dead.
She died.
But you can see her horse.
All my movie wives are dead.
Never looked a gift horse in your dead mother's mouth.
In this way, I never have to have a romantic situation with an age-appropriate person.
Even my chi couldn't heal my wife.
So he tells his hacker friend on the phone to do your thing, and he hangs up. And there's some random woman in his office, and she asks why you're ignoring me. And he says, "Oh, I'm not ignoring you, baby." And she drops a robe, revealing that she's bare-ass naked. Why the fuck not? And Seagal moves faster than he's moved in years to slide up behind her and wrap his slimy tentacles around her.
That's so pointless. He all but goes, boy. It's so ridiculous.
Oh, God. So, cut to Bucharest, where a plane lands and some shady guys on motorcycles make some kind of exchange. And outside the airport, a woman pulls up in a taxi and she gets out and notices all the shady men watching her from all around. She goes in as Seagal's leaving the plane in his finest yellow leather flying coat.
Is that leftover from like On Deadly Ground or whatever?
His daughter runs up to him and he picks her up, dropping his passport. So they go outside and they start putting their bags into the trunk of a limousine when this motorcycle guy plants a device in the trunk. It's this big silver thing with a big blinking red light on it, so you know it's a bomb.
Yeah, it says bomb. It's got a label on it that says bomb.
Yeah, a beeping noise with a blinking red light.
Yeah. And just in broad ass daylight, the driver's right there putting bags in the trunk. He just walks up and sticks it in the trunk, all nonchalant like. Seagal notices they lost his passport, and him and his daughter go back into the airport to search for it. She finds it and gives her his bag to hold. And some guy named Harry comes out of fucking nowhere and strikes up a conversation with Seagal. The woman from the taxi bumps past him and gets back in the cab. The guy on the motorcycle waits patiently while the device in the trunk starts beeping faster and faster. Seagal bids Harry a nice life and get the fuck out of here and leaves. When the woman in the taxi pulls up, grabs Amanda, pulls her in the cab and speeds off. The motorcycle guy isn't happy about this, and then the limo explodes.
And there was no urgency with Seagal when his daughter is getting kidnapped. He's like, hey, Amanda. And he doesn't even move.
Nope.
That daughter is mine.
So the limo explodes. We think Grandpa George was killed in this limo because he was right there next to it.
Wow, way to spoil the movie there, Jason.
I fucking care. Seagal and Harry straight up steal a car and go after him.
This was hilarious.
We still don't know who Harry is.
And we never find out.
So the guy on the motorcycle was following behind him too, and the worst car chase committed to celluloid unfolds.
And once again, 1.5 speed, hilarious.
It was super funny at regular speed too.
Yeah,
I have to say.
Seagal fit in that car like Donkey Kong does on Mario Kart.
There's shots where he's talking in the car, and all you see is his mouth. Because he's stuffed in this little hatchback. Oh my god. There's snap zooms and fast motion and all kinds of flashing transitions and migraine inducing. And like I sent a gift to everybody to Blake and John earlier about what I felt this looked like, and it was all the old Toonces the driving cat skits from old 90s SNL.
It's exactly what it looked like.
It's just two people in a car with a green screen behind them that does not match up with what they're pantomiming in the car.
No.
Or the perspective of the green screen to the car.
It was bad. And just off cameras, two guys with 2x4s making the car shake.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, so fucking funny.
Seagal's making this face like he's driving furiously to get to the nearest toilet.
Just him like stuffed into this tiny car with a super intense face on. Oh my god!
Why did they choose that car for him? Because there was bigger cars in the movie.
Oh no! Maybe they all thought it was funny. Maybe they're just like fucking with Seagal.
Yeah. So some budget Matrix music kicks in as the motorcyclists open fire and Seagal starts ramming them off the road. A truck momentarily slows Seagal down when they notice another car's following him. They start trading paint when Seagal forces the car off the road and it launches through the air. They lose the cab and Harry tells Seagal they should head back to the safe house. The safe house? Who are you?
What's that? Who is anybody? Like, why is Seagal even here?
So he says, let's go back to the safe house to fuel up, and we'll look for your daughter later. To which Seagal replies,
I think he just says, okay. Like, if I recall correctly, it's just, okay.
All right, we'll get that daughter later. Shit. So, at the safe house, Seagal starts grilling Harry if he knows where Amanda is, because I haven't seen you in years, and all of a sudden you show up, and my daughter's kidnapped, and 4 or 5 people are dead. Harry's got no answers for any of these questions, and will not for the rest of the movie.
No.
We just have to accept this character showing up and getting shoved up our ass. Harry tells Seagal they'll get Amanda back, and he promises... when he leaves, and Seagal hears Harry lock the door behind him when he leaves, and we get this reverse snap zoom shot of the door to show that it's bolted shut. And outside, Harry gets on the phone and calls somebody up and says, "He's yours." So Inside, Seagal punches a hole in the wall and starts ripping out pipes and builds a fucking shotgun out of garbage he pulled out of the wall.
I was losing my damn mind for this scene. Because we've established in whatever Godfrey Ho movie it was, the levels of tinkering people can do. This was tinker level 100 right here. None of it makes sense, by the way. He pulls out a drink shaker that for some reason has a 3/4 inch threaded hole in the bottom that he can just screw things into. Dude made a blunderbuss from plumbing supplies, which I dubbed immediately the plumber bus.
Where'd he get the shells from?
I don't know. But
were they in the wall?
To me, the only thing that would have made it better if it had been like on The Great Outdoors with John Candy when he has the lamp that's the shotgun and he shoots the bear in the ass with it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the level of stupidity we're at right here.
He builds some sort of explosive trap and a shotgun out of garbage.
A plumber bus, not a shotgun.
So men arrive and enter the building, guns drawn. Seagal sets up an old gramophone as a distraction. Why didn't he use the end of the gramophone?
That'd have been something.
So he sets this up to distract them, but it's also the trigger because when one of the men turns it off, it triggers the explosive trap, launching this like gas canister into his chest. And by into his chest, I mean tucked into his jacket. It was the equivalent of like sticking a sword under your arm and pretending you were stabbed with it.
Yeah.
Now, what would have happened if they'd have just let the music play?
Yeah.
It would have wasted that fine device.
He should have found some more obnoxious music that they would have to turn off. You know, like Who Let the Dogs Out or something.
Or his own blues album.
So Dimitri,
honestly,
turn
when he
this
brought
fucking
that out,
garbage off.
When he brought the fucking gramophone out, I started listening closely because it wouldn't be above him to slide in his little blues album right there.
Yep.
But he didn't do it.
No. Showed some restraint.
Yeah.
So Seagal leaps out of the shadows and blasts a goon with his goddamn plumber bus. He then throws a knife into the neck of another guy and then runs and grabs the gun of another and shoots him dead. He goes outside and gets the drop on Harry, and they do this crappy reverse shot of him slamming Harry's face into the car window that you could tell it started with Harry with his face on the window.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it hits with no impact at all. And we cut then to Seagal questioning Harry in the car. And Harry explains that Grandpa George stole this formula from the MK Ultra program that gives people cancer that kills them in a year, and it's totally untraceable. And he's trying to sell it to the KGB, but the KGB think that Seagal has it. And Seagal tells Harry, "You got 2 hours to find my daughter." He didn't hear any of that.
At one point, they mentioned the quote-unquote agency again.
Yeah, the agency, which Is it the CIA?
Well, I thought it was more like, you know how in all his movies, the big bad is either the syndicate or the agents, one of those things.
Yeah. The agency is apparently who he used to work for before he accidentally became a CEO.
Yeah. And then I was trying to figure what's his CEO of. And then is it his martial arts school? But
they said it was a Fortune 500 company.
So I was like, unless he's got like a bunch of franchises or something, I don't know. I mean, how many people can you train the Denmark to?
Right. Well, that fucking energy drink made out of Asian cordyceps took off.
Goji berries.
The Asian experience.
Jesus Christ.
Asian Experiences Inc. That's what he's CEO of.
God. This movie got me delirious, man.
So we cut to the U.S. Embassy. Harry, being watched by Seagal from the shadows, heads in. And Harry lays out what's been happening with Seagal to the folks inside, that Seagal came to Bucharest with his daughter because this is where her mother was from, and it's the 5-year anniversary of her death. Weird. He thinks that George is using Seagal as the courier for the formula, and that's why everyone's after him. So Seagal's wandering the streets while Harry's inside, and the Bucharest police pull up and flash their badges at him and pull him in the squad car and take him away.
Well, you're not doing a good job of hiding when you're wearing the man in the yellow hat's costume.
He's 7 foot tall, hair black as midnight,
bright highlighter yellow jacket.
Oh my god.
Look at that giant highlighter with an abyss floating over its head.
So,
just giving off rays of like pure indifference.
So, back in the embassy, they're continuing to talk about how Seagal is the CEO, but he carries a gun, so he's not like a typical CEO, and he's not somebody you should fuck with. What is this movie? Harry tells him that he's going to be meeting with Seagal in a couple of hours, and they can question him there. The ambassador thinks that Seagal can't possibly know that he's carrying the formula, because he would have turned it in by now to get his daughter back. Cut to the Bucharest police station, where they're questioning Seagal. They tell him that the agency wants him dead, and they bring out Anya, the cab driver who kidnapped Amanda, and tell him that all taxi drivers in Romania work for the police, and that she doesn't have Amanda. Sure. So Anya leaves. Seagal says that I'm done answering your questions. So the cops attack him, and he quickly shoves them all to death. Yes. But it's too late. Anya escapes. Harry and the motorcycle man, one of the agents, I don't know, the agency agent, they head to the rendezvous. One of the men is criticizing martial arts. Ooh, he's going to get it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's the equivalent of like a teenager smoking weed in a Jason movie.
So, Seagal arrives at the rendezvous and wanders around aimlessly. Harry and the agents arrive outside and head in. The motorcycle guy stays downstairs, and the other two head up to meet Seagal. He says he's disappointed in Harry because it was supposed to be just the two of them, and the other agent pulls his gun and points at Seagal, but then in a shocking twist, he shoots Harry, who falls over the railing.
Why?
Seagal grabs the gun and shoots the agent dead, and then the motorcycle guy storms in, opening fire at Seagal. They shoot at each other for a while, and the agent runs away and gets in the car and drives off.
I tried to count Seagal's shots. Yeah. It was very hard to keep track of, but impossible. I do know there was over 30 shots out of that pistol without reloading. Somewhere over 30.
Oh, Christ.
Nothing is happening. Nothing's fucking happening. Like, he's being taken to places and attacked. And then he goes to another place and is attacked.
It's a Godfrey Ho movie.
I'm glad you said that, because in my notes right at this part, it says, nothing's happened yet in real big letters. Seagal's barely in this movie. And then real big, scratched all over the place, over 30 shots.
It's just him going to a new location and fighting a new mini-boss. He's Richard Harrison in this.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't have to take out a suicide bomber plumber at some point.
That would have been interesting.
So
he goes to a place later that's like, I have no idea why he goes there.
I know what you're talking about. We're going to get to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Anya's on the phone with an accomplice telling him that Harry's dead. She stops Amanda.
How does she know this?
You know what? I never really thought of that. She wasn't even there.
No, she wasn't.
She wasn't there.
Romania, a small place.
I feel like we need the meme of Charlie Kelly in front of the big board with all the lines, just trying to figure out who is in relation to who in this fucking movie.
No clue.
So
I know part of it is that I struggled to pay attention.
I paid attention to though. Don't worry, I really fought to understand this, and I could not.
I know one thing.
Like,
if all 5 of your questions are like characters' names in this movie, I won't get them right.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any character names.
No clue who anybody's names are.
Yeah. So she says Harry's dead. She stops Amanda from trying to escape her apartment and explains to her that she didn't kidnap her. She saved her from being exploded in that limo. And she tells her that she used to be a
She should have yelled at her less, maybe, then.
Yeah, no.
She wasn't treating her very nicely in the car. I very much thought she was kidnapping her. She tells her that she used to be a secret agent in England and had to flee the country because she trusted the wrong people, but they killed her.
Who isn't, sweetheart? Like, everybody in this fucking movie is a secret agent.
So she had to flee the country, but the people hunted her down and they killed her husband and her daughter. So the agent on the motorcycle calls up the embassy and tells them that he lost Seagal. They tell him to come back immediately and don't talk to anybody. Meanwhile, Anya leaves Amanda with some guy in a wheelchair.
Who's this dude?
Some guy in a wheelchair, and explains to her that her dad has something that the bad guys want, so she's got to go and help him. Back at the embassy, Motorcycle Man tells the head of the agency, not the ambassador, that all hell broke loose and the other two were dead, and he gives them 24 hours to find Seagal. Cut to the strip club, where the police meet up with some of the goons from the airport who are the KGB. And they tell him that as soon as they catch Seagal, that they'll sell the formula to the highest bidder. And the Russians discuss amongst themselves that they don't care how they get the formula as long as they get it. And the only reason Seagal is there mucking up the works is because of his daughter, which they know Anya has. Somehow.
Romania, a small place.
Cut to Seagal telling a more different cab driver to take him to some drugs and some women.
He just forgot the camera was rolling.
I was going to say we picked up Seagal on a hot mic. So the driver takes him to some mansion where some whores come out and show him some drugs. He says, hey, we gotta get some of that. And some guy comes out and takes him inside to buy drugs. So inside, there's a bunch of guys all lounged out around a glass table with some joints and wads of cash on it. Standard drug den.
And fun dip all over the table.
So they ask Seagal what he wants, and he says, oh, I'm looking to party. And there's some guy passed out with a mask on, which the main dealer says that, oh, he had a freebase accident, so he has to wear that mask because he scares all the girls. Seagal mumbles something about prescription medication, to which the drug dealer takes a lot of offense to, and he says that he doesn't like American wise asses. So they all attack, and of course are taken out with minimum effort. The mask guy's mask falls off, to which Seagal looks at him and says,
Oh man, that's not a freebase accident. That's syphilis.
Jesus.
That's not
That's like gotta be one of the top 5 moments of the movie for sure.
That's syphilis.
That's syphilis.
I should know.
And then he strangles him to death. And
Clean that syphilis right up.
It seems like that's such a detail that he insisted on being in there. Like, maybe this guy's face should be all messed up and he's got syphilis. But why? Because when you have syphilis, you get all weird looking. Come on, man, it'll be weird. Let's do it.
Come on, man, it'll be weird. Why does he here? I have no idea what he's doing here.
He gains nothing from any of this.
He just shows up and kills everybody. And then leaves.
He didn't wait. It gets better because he strolls into a room where there's this old woman counting money. And he's all like, "Hey, you doing good? All right." He just grabs a bunch of the money and walks out. She pops up with an automatic and starts spraying the walls, to which he pops around the corner and puts one between her eyes. It's an old lady.
Blows an old lady's head off.
He guns down the main drug dealer and heads back out and gets in the cab, and they just sort of drive away. And then he asks the cabbie, "So you know this lady, Anya, who's also a cabbie? I'll pay you some money to take me to her." What was all that about?
I don't know. I'm dying.
I was to say, everybody's dying tonight.
And all the cabbies know each other, apparently. He just says, like...
Romania's small place.
Romania's small place.
Yeah.
So, oh, holy shit.
So not only does this cabbie know this person based on this vague description Seagal offers, he knows exactly where she is.
Yep.
Not her house. Some club.
Her location. So, back at the embassy, the agency also gets a tip off that Seagal's at some club. So, cut to the club. Of course, we just had to interject. Oh yeah, the agency knows where he is too. At the club, Seagal wanders around the crowd and approaches the bartender. He says, "Hey, do you know this woman Anya?" And the bartender says no. And so Seagal looks around and he sees Anya in the distance and turns around and slaps the shit out of the bartender.
I may be wrong, but I think it's a common thing in movies. Like, if a bartender's wearing a leather vest, he knows something.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So Seagal goes after her as the cops arrive outside. Seagal just shows himself into the women's restroom. Not unusual at all.
That's just, again, forgot the camera was on.
Yeah.
All the women in there flee for their lives, and Anya comes out and asks him what his daughter's worth to him. He says, she's worth my life and yours too. And so Anya tells him that she'll help him, but he's got to help her get a passport and a ticket out of Romania. He she pulls a gun on him, and he grabs it away from her and tells her, I guess we're going to do this the hard way. And he leads her out by gunpoint. The police swarm into the club and start searching. In a back room somewhere, Seagal's tied up Anya to a chair, and he's threatening to kill her if she doesn't give up Amanda. The Russians also arrive and head inside the club. Seagal wraps a towel around Anya's neck and starts to strangle her. This is our hero.
Yes.
But he does bad things.
Yeah. The police see the Russians arrive, and so they leave. But the Russians hear Anya coughing in the back room, so they rush in, and Seagal slips out like the wind. And Anya, they grab Anya and they say, "Hey, you were supposed to bring Seagal to us." And they ask where Amanda is, and Anya spits in their faces. So they put a very flimsy plastic bag over her head and start to suffocate her. And she starts to mumble something at them, which they can't understand through this tissue-thin plastic bag.
It's one of them sound-canceling bags.
Yeah.
And they pull it off, and she says, "Oh, I took her to your mother's house." So the men start to... Gotcha. So... The head Russian leaves one guard with her, and they head out to sweep the club to look for Seagal, when he springs to action again, and Anya too, and they take out the one guard they left behind. They run out, jump in Anya's cab, and drive off. The police, meanwhile, arrive at Anya's and blast the door down. Good thing the girl wasn't in there. They start to flip the apartment, searching for anything, I guess. Meanwhile, back in the cab, Seagal questions Anya why she hasn't given his daughter to the bad guys, since that would be easier. And she says that, well, they're not going to get me what I need like you will. And she's sorry that his daughter got roped into all this being a pawn in the middle of all this crazy nonsense. Back at the embassy, the ambassador and the lead agent bicker about how long it's taken to settle all this chaos. of which the details I'm still hazy on.
Yeah.
I don't know who knows what.
Nobody knows
like,
what's going on at this point.
Yeah.
Every time they establish the U.S. embassy, it's through a gate.
Yes.
Like they clearly could not get the shot of this plaque from inside the gate.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, it's like these guys with the cameras are back.
No, usually they don't mind people filming. They're like, do y'all have Seagal with y'all? Get the hell out of here.
So the police are watching Anya's apartment when Seagal and Anya arrive, but they spot him, so they go around back to avoid him.
Seagal's like, uh-oh, Popo. He calls him Popo. Like, he does a couple of movies with, like, DMX and Ja Rule, and now he calls them the Popo.
Oh, Lord. So they go around back, but what they don't know is one of the officers went inside to use the bathroom. So they're in the wrecked apartment as Anya collects some important documents that she needs before they head out to where she stashed Amanda. The cop jumps out the bathroom and Anya shoots her dead. And the other police officer comes running into the building, but Seagal knocks him out and they escape. Back at the embassy, the motorcycle agent informs the lead agent that the Saudis have upped their bid to $40 million to buy the formula. And they figured out that Anya used to be a secret agent too. Why not? So back in the taxi, Anya has the feels that she killed a cop, and Seagal's all like, "Oh, whatever, chi and shit."
Yeah.
Hey, I know it really sucks. It sucks hard.
Seagal takes Anya somewhere they can lay low for a while. It seems to be the drug den from earlier.
Probably. Maybe that's why he killed everybody in there. So he could use it to lay low.
So
classic laying low mansion.
Yeah. So they go inside and have a drink, and this is the exact dialogue. "You're not happy? I can't believe I killed a woman. I guess we gotta do what we gotta do. You don't look too happy either. I'll be more happy when I get my daughter back." Scene.
Good shit.
Yeah.
Riveting.
Highly erotic.
So Seagal has flashbacks to the beginning of the movie, and it just that scene of Amanda being kidnapped just plays out again. And this is where Anya, for no particular reason at all, decides to take her shirt off and jump his bones.
But she doesn't really jump his bones.
Well, she takes her shirt off for no fucking reason at all.
She takes her shirt off, and then she, cries, and he hugs her.
Yeah.
And he makes some speech about, I know you want everybody to see you. You piss ice. You're just cold on the outside.
What the hell?
But I can tell on the inside you really care. And then he grabs her and he just pulls her into his massive form.
Is that even a thing? Piss ice?
No.
I've never heard it. On the spot. That's a classic Seagal ad lib.
Seagalisms.
So the next day, the agents arrive at the warehouse where Amanda is with the wheelchair guy, and so do the police. And the agents come out with Amanda as the police. We cut back to the police doing paperwork to find an old address of Anya's. Is this a retroactive establishing shot to show how they figured out how to get there after we just saw them pull up to there?
I think it's just bad editing.
Probably.
So,
but it's some straight up Velocipaster shit. It's like, oh, it's a good thing we found that address.
Yeah, that's true.
So now Anya and Seagal pull up. There's just a mountain of cars in the street of every major player arriving at this place at the same damn time. Anya and Seagal go in and they find a wheelchair guy face down, dead on the floor, wheelchair on top of him, which I got a chuckle out of. So Amanda's gone. Seagal goes through he finds his bag that Amanda had on her and finds the phone, and all he has to do is look at the phone to realize that the stylus has the formula in it.
But does he know that they're looking for a formula at that point? I was confused.
Well, he pulls out the phone and he pulls out the stylus, and it does all the flashbacks to Uncle George tucking the stylus in his sock and dropping it and switching it.
Yeah, he was like remembering stuff that he
had no clue
Did
about.
he notice at the time? Like, did he?
No, he didn't know about these things.
He was remembering shots of stuff that happened under the table.
All he had to do was touch it, and he got like the memories of this stylus beamed into his fucking brain.
It's the chi.
So the police and agents both get the drop on Anya, but Seagal shoots them both, but the one of the agents survives. No, this is a cop.
Yeah,
this is one of the cops. He shoots the cops, and one of them survives, and they escape. Back at the club, the Russians get the call from the wounded police officer that they've got a problem and he needs to meet. So back at the hideout, quote unquote drug den, quote unquote wherever the fuck, Seagal dons his assumption glasses and cracks open the stylus to find a nanochip with a thin candy shell that, when destroyed, will destroy the chip unless it's dissolved in the correct chemicals. Guess that's all that CEO knowledge.
I'm about to say, is he CEO of some kind of chemical company, or what are we supposed to glean from this?
He's an expert in thin candy shells.
This is true.
Also, this isn't what MK Ultra was.
Of course it was.
It had nothing to do with like viruses or whatever diseases.
It was candy serums designed to morph rats into hamsters and kill them.
And give sharks more heads, mind you.
So he asks Anya to get him to a phone booth so he can call some friends of his. And he starts rambling about life being an exchange, a trade-off, and I got something they want, and they got something I want. Yeah, that's the basic plot of the movie, Steven.
I'm sure it was supposed to be some sort of deeper meaning about transfer or energy or something, and he dumbed it down to that.
So he calls his friend Rogers, the hacker from the beginning of the movie. Remember him, everybody? Later, the injured police officer meets up with the Russians on a roof, and they throw him a beating. Anya calls the Russians and tells them where Seagal's going to be, setting up the trap. And then they leave the officers strangled dead on the roof, and they head to the central library where the whole shebang's going to go down. Seagal and Anya gear up for the hit. Seagal tries to talk Anya out of going because it's dangerous. But not really. We got a pad for time here.
Why wouldn't you want a secret agent helping you?
You sure you want to go with me on this? Why wouldn't I go with this? I don't know. It might be kind of dangerous. Well, I'm used to that. I'm going, all right. And it's the scene. So they go outside, and a fucking assault helicopter shows up on the scene, called in by the agency, and opens fire on them. They jump in Anya's taxi and flee the scene, driving into the woods to lose the helicopter into trees. And I was like, oh, please let Seagal fashion a howitzer out of some branches and grubs. But it's so much better because he proceeds to get out of the car and shoots down and blows up the helicopter with a 9mm.
Yes.
It's incredible.
In spectacular Nigerian VFX fashion.
To make the helicopter spinning out of the control, they just shot a still helicopter and whirled the camera around.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like, it didn't even crash. It's not like he shot the pilots or something.
No,
like,
it broke in half.
Explodes in midair.
Oh, he wrapped his chi around those bullets.
He sure did. Chi bullets coming at you.
So from the woods where he just blew up a helicopter, he instantly arrives at the American embassy and meets up with the ambassador. And she says that she knows that that Black Ops is after him, and it makes her sick that the government still operates this way. And she's sorry that he got dragged back into the game, but he knows all he wants is his daughter back. And keep in mind, she was never in the same room as him.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So he says that I don't know much about biological weapons and the game and all that, but I took it. I decided to mix it up, and it ain't gonna work no more. He destroyed it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. He already wrecked it.
She's gonna do what she can to help him get his daughter back, and she calls the agents and tells them that Seagal wants to meet to trade the formula for his daughter, which they deny having, which they do. All the interested parties arrive at the library. Rogers, back in Hackersville, is hacking into something for a reason.
We never know.
Oh, we know. We find out at the end.
Do we?
What it has to do with any of this.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So Seagal tells him to step on it, because you know what's going to happen if you don't have it. Okay. Seagal slow-mo enters the library, or regular speed for him. Who the hell knows?
Oh, we forgot to mention he upgraded to a black leather trench coat now.
Oh yeah. He's got his. Isn't that what he had in Absolution? The black leather with the red shirt.
I can't.
He wore that in something else.
This was a longer trench coat, though.
Yeah, black trench coat, red shirt. His business, his means business suit.
Means business suit.
That's pretty good.
It is good.
He goes in and he sees the agents, and he sees that Anya's taking her place up on the second floor. He sits down at the table with the lead agent and he says, "Story time's over." And he asks where his daughter is, and he shows the agent the stylus, and they pull out his daughter, and she's upstairs on the second floor being held by the other agent. And he said, he's going to make the trade, but he signals to Anya, and they both open fire, and all hell breaks loose as school children run for their lives as bullets are flying everywhere.
So many innocent people around.
It's children with backpacks screaming, running for their lives. Anya grabs Amanda while the motorcycle agent takes a bullet in the face and is completely unfazed by it.
Yeah.
It went through his cheek.
Yeah, but then he gets one in the forehead, and that one does faze him.
That one works. That one works.
Seagal executes the remaining agents and calls out Plan B to Anya and Amanda. I don't know what Plan A was.
Yeah, it seemed like Plan A went okay, really.
So the Russians now swarm in and open fire. He takes a few of them out, but eventually finds himself in an old Mexican standoff with the two main Russians. They force Seagal to disable his gun, and they say, give us the formula, and you'll have your daughter, and you can leave. I need your word that once I give you this, you'll just walk away. And he takes his gun apart, and he walks up to the main Russian, and he hands it to him. And when he hands it to him, he grabs the Russian's gun and shoots the other one, and then he does his 1-inch punch bullshit to the Russian's head, and his eyes blow out of his head. He watermeloned the guy's head. There it is. There's the payoff.
Get dim mocked, son.
So he walks out triumphantly, leaving him like panning or like grabbing at the ground, trying to find a weapon. He walks out and, surprise, it's Grandpa George. He's alive for whatever fucking reason. And pulls a gun on Seagal, demanding the formula back. Seagal warns George that you're just making me very hangry, George. And it ain't over till the wolf howls.
Oh, that was a classic one. I loved it.
Then he karates this guy who's got a gun, has him dead to rights, and he punches him in the chest. He flies 12 feet across the room and splatters against the wall. Superpowers.
Blew his back walls out.
Meanwhile, Rogers successfully hacks the MK Ultra program, and it locks down the facility and it gasses all the scientists. Yeah, sure, why not? At this point, why the fuck not? Okay,
the screen just says like shutting down program or something like that. Why does that mean it gasses everybody? It like locks the room and kills everyone inside.
There's a guard just watching in horror as all the scientists die.
I just liked how he killed a bunch of scientists whose research ended 30 years ago.
So Anya and Amanda drive out to some park where they meet Seagal. Seagal picks up Amanda and tells her that she's been a brave girl, and the three head to the embassy. The ambassador gives Seagal a passport to give to Anya, and she says, well, at least I'm good for something, like my word. And when Seagal gives the passport to Anya, he goes, well, at least I'm good for something, like my word. I just made that up.
Why is he ripping lines off the ambassador?
So they bid Anya farewell and head to wherever their dead mom's from. He leans in and he tells Amanda, you've been a real brave girl. And then he gives her a horse. Freeze frame on his dumbass face. Holy shit, this was a terrible movie.
Was it her mother's horse though?
Forget about me.
I don't. Maybe.
I thought that it was. I mean, why else would they show the horse?
Couldn't he just say it's your mom's horse? It could be any horse.
Yeah, he just said, like, here's a horse.
And yeah, how would she know what Romanian horse was her mother's anyway? I guess you're right.
Romania is a small place.
Yeah.
We have one horse.
We share it.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
So that was a brutal one.
This was incredibly bad.
Well, I'm ready to get all my questions wrong.
Okay. Let's get this out of the way. I have exactly 6 questions. I don't think we talked about any of them. So I think we're good here. All right.
Okay.
You guys ready?
Yes.
Question number 1. In the establishing shot of Bucharest, there's a big red billboard on top of a building. What does it say?
What does it say?
Question number 2. What is the make of the car that Seagal and Harry steal from outside the airport?
I think I have that. Maybe.
Question number 3. How old is Amanda?
That's a guess.
Question number 4. What was Anya's daughter's name?
Oh, shit.
I did have a name of a character.
Shit.
I remember it. I swear I remember it. I don't know why.
Question number 5. When Seagal gives Anya her passport in the end, what color is his shirt? Because he changes shirts in every friggin' scene.
That's another guess.
All right.
I don't know.
Pencils down. Question number 1. What did the big red billboard say in Bucharest?
Romania is a small place.
Office chairs?
It said Biz.
Biz.
B-I-Z, and that's it.
Okay.
Question number 2. What was the make of the car that Seagal and Harry stole?
Was it an Audi?
Saab?
It was an Audi.
Damn it.
Question number 3. How old is Amanda?
12?
8?
8.
Yes.
That chick was not 8 years old.
Question number 4. What was Anya's daughter's name?
Maria.
Julie?
Maria.
Ugh.
Here's number 4. What color was Seagal's shirt when he gives Anya her passport?
Red.
Red.
Blue.
Blue. There was no blue in this movie.
There's a blue Mercedes.
He's in a red shirt when he kills everyone at the end. Then he's in a blue shirt when he's giving her the passport. And then he's in a darker blue shirt when he gives his daughter a horse. My other question that we didn't use was, how long ago did Anya's family die?
3 years?
5 years.
3 years.
3 years. It was 5
3
years since the mom died.
Damn it. I knew that one.
Well, Blake has pulled into the lead with 7 points. John's right behind with 6, and I'm stuck way in the back with 3.
All right. I like this game.
But it's still early.
It is.
But on that note, it's time for Blake to pick a movie.
It is. And it's, let me get... We are going to watch Doom Annihilation.
Oh, Christ.
It's 96 minutes long. It's available on Netflix, so we won't have to deal with the issues that we did with the YouTube movie. The synopsis, Doom follows a group of UAC Marines as they respond to a distress call from a top-secret scientific base on Phobos, a Martian moon, only to discover it's been overrun by demons who threaten to create hell on Earth.
So Doom. They're going to ruin
Doom. But not Doom, because, as most people know, it does not feature the Doom guy, as Doom movies tend not to do.
You'd think it would be so easy to make a Doom movie and have the Doom guy in it as just this silent, murderous protagonist, and then just have some ancillary characters around him.
Yeah, just do it. But no.
I mean, they did it with Dread.
They opted not to do so. So this movie has 3.6 on IMDb. On Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave it 60%, but we all know that they're ass clowns. The audience gave it 16%.
Oh.
The reviews makes me miss the last Doom movie.
Oh, the Rock one?
Yeah. 3 words, Sci-Fi Channel. And the third one, pro tip, stab your eyes with a fork before watching.
I'll have to try that.
Now, better than any of the reviews I could find was the Doom creators' official Twitter when they had to address this movie. So, according to the official Doom video game Twitter account, this is what they said: "We're not involved with the making of this movie." So then this thing goes on to say, in several interviews, the director confirmed this, but added that Bethesda and ID Software were asked to be involved in the production, even prior to a script being completed. They were asked to contribute to the story, script, casting, and demon designs. They declined and wished the production good luck.
How did they? I just don't
Stay in your wheelhouse, I guess.
How'd they get to make the movie without their involvement?
Don't know.
I'm sure they got the rights. They just didn't get the.
Yeah, we're not helping you, basically.
The cooperation.
Yeah.
Busy making Doom Eternal, son. Get out of here.
I mean, you'd think, though, you'd want your property,
you would think,
seen in the best light.
Because, like we said, it wouldn't be hard to make a good Doom movie. Now,
yeah,
I say
at least
most.
not a crazy and violent one.
Yeah.
That would be easy.
Yeah. I mean, that's what
I'm serious. Like cast just some big hulking bastard as the Doom guy. He never has to speak. He just has to be going around kicking ass and have a group of scientists or Marines behind him or around him, dodging not only the demons but also him.
Yeah.
While he blows things to hell.
While he
and
rips
have
and
a little
tears,
story.
as they say.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But no.
I mean, obviously,
look.
Do that. I know I'm not the only big fan of Doom. Everybody loves Doom.
Yeah.
Show me a red-blooded American that doesn't like playing Doom games.
Yeah.
But God damn, they can't make that thing happen with a movie.
Well, we're gonna see the second try.
And at first I thought, like, okay, so this is going to have a bunch of Space Marines in it. Okay, I thought maybe he would at least show up or they'd make reference to.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
No. Burf.
Well, sounds pretty shitty.
Mm-hmm. And I think that episode will be coming out just in time for Doom Eternal's launch on the 20th.
That's kind of what I was figuring.
Yeah. Which also is the same day that the new Animal Crossing game launches, and the Doom community and the Animal Crossing community have combined forces in a hilarious fashion.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I'm not aware of this.
There's all kinds of fan art and all kinds of craziness going on right now.
Nice. Good job.
This wholesome little game and fucking Doom.
I would venture to say that Doom is the most wholesome game.
Well, it is. I mean,
you're defeating
the world of demons. Yeah.
You're killing demons.
Yep.
Can't argue with that.
I mean, they tried it when it first came out. That people
You
said
fucking
it was,
try. You fucking try and argue with that.
Yeah. They tried back in the day when they were trying to say the game was satanic, and they were like, "No, you're killing the demons.
Yeah, we dare you.
You're doing God's work.
We
It's
dare you to argue with us.
anti-demon.
Yeah.
We dare you to argue with us on this. John will sit down and debate anyone.
That's right. Oh, also, I don't know if we've seen the director of this. Hold on, wait. I just thought his name was funny. Where is it? There it is. Tony Giglio.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be like Peter Blumberbus or something.
Let's see what all he's done while we're looking.
It's the Stevie Poopy Pants.
Let's see. He's been a director of 8 movies: Doom Annihilation, SWAT Under Siege, Extraction, Timber Falls, Chaos, In Enemy Hands, Love, Sex, and Murder, and Soccer Dog the Movie. Perfect pick.
Nice.
Okay. Doom, what's it? Annihilation?
Doom Annihilation. It's on Netflix.
It shares the same subtitle as Mortal Kombat sequel.
Yeah.
That's got to say something.
Oh, also, speaking of that, it's also has nothing related to the other Doom movie.
Okay.
So this is a hard reboot from the first pile of dog shit.
All right. Well, I know nobody wants to, but it's time to move on to our closing segment. Say something nice.
Gentlemen, we've yet to be challenged this hard.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I think that this is a great opportunity to point out all I'm trying to think of a good word. Not lesser than people, but people who have smaller roles behind the scenes and on camera in movies.
The Best Boy was great.
Well, I'm just thinking like Seagal stand-in. He earned his paycheck.
He did some heavy lifting.
He earned his paycheck. And if it wouldn't be for small heroes like that, the movie wouldn't get made.
There were some lines that I thought that maybe the stunt double also did, because it sounded like an impression of Seagal.
He had a voice stand-in.
Don't call him a stunt double. He was a stand-in. Because he did more than stunts. Mm-hmm. He walked. He stood there. He drove cars. He did everything.
He didn't get to do any of those scenes with them women, though.
Yeah, so unsung hero of the movie is Seagal's stand-in, and I just wanted to give him a little credit.
I think the unsung heroes of this movie are the women that had to be subjected to him.
Huh.
What kind of jams were they in that they had to do this?
Well, you know what they say.
They live in Romania, James.
Romania is a small place.
That's the jam.
Well, who else got something good to say? John?
I will say, I thought the limo explosion was pretty alright. Like, it was a good blow up. They showed it a few too many times, but
well, they had to get their money's worth out of it.
I don't know. It felt good. It was like really kinetic.
You know what explosion they didn't show a million times?
They spent all their money on the limo explosion and forgot they had a helicopter explosion to do.
They did not have the money to blow up a real helicopter. I mean, I don't know if this counts. I don't know. I guess I'm going to test the limits, but this is probably one of the funnier Seagal movies I've seen.
But like, not for the right reasons.
Not for the right reasons. So yeah, that probably doesn't count. But anyway, it was a legit explosion. Pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to tag on to kind of what Blake said about the unsung heroes, and just hats off to the probably, 100 people that had to contribute to this pile of shit.
I'm sure there was some PA that had to be like Seagal's handler. God bless that person. Had to listen to his pitches about Bitcoin. Like, get his coffee. And I bet you when Seagal orders coffee, it's not a simple order.
Yeah, you got to go to the Himalayas, get some goat's milk.
It needs goji berries.
Put some dim mak in there.
I want you to come back, and I want the real Asian experience.
Yeah, and it needs to be sneezed on by a Mongolian falcon.
Thank you for listening to Garbage Theater. As always, you can find us online at facebook.com/Garbage Theater, on Twitter at Garbage_Theater, and on Instagram at Garbage_Theater. If you'd care to leave us a review on iTunes, we would very much appreciate it. And if you have a movie suggestion or just want to reach out to us, you can contact us on any of our social channels or email us directly at garbagetheaterpodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all the latest episodes and happenings. Good night, and see you next time, folks.